Okay, Chase Bliss, let's talk. Um, let's just start out and tell you I love your newest line of stereo effects, the new Gen Loss Mark II, the Mood Mark II, the reverse mode C here, and the newest Lossy. You get a thumbs up for me for sure. I love doing stereo. Anybody who watches this channel a bit will tell you that I mostly all do stereo. So really was super stoked with all of these things. And there's some really awesome sounds that I've gotten out of these boxes. And then the other day I was messing around with actually just these two, the Lossy and the Mark II. I'm sorry, the Mood Mark II. And I was getting some really wild sounds out of it, and I loved it. And I was thinking to myself, I want to add just a little bit more on the front end. So I brought in the reverse mode C. And something happened. It changed the sound, and not the way that I was expecting, and not in a way that I liked. So let me tell you about this little gripe I have. Let's start out by turning off some of these things, because we don't need them at all right now. So what I'm going to talk about is these dip switches right up here, and in particularly one that is in all of these new stereo guys, and it is the one marked MISO, which means mono in, stereo out. So essentially it allows, because these are all TRS inputs and outputs, which mean it's a 1/4 inch in. You can do a TS, which just sends a mono signal, or TRS, which sends separate audio to the tip and the ring. And that way, this little box, you're basically telling this box, hey, it's just a mono in, but I want it to be a stereo out. Don't know why my finger just did that. Anyway, mono in, but stereo out. So mono in, stereo out, MISO. These boxes also do mono in, mono out, and stereo in, stereo out. But to do mono in, stereo out, you have to switch this dip switch. So let's pretend the Rev C is not here right now, or let's pretend it's a mono pedal, and I have the Mood Mark II sitting here with the MISO switch on. Oh, also before I start, you need to put on headphones. It's a necessary thing. That's what you're going to need to hear this. So let's do a little bit of Lossy, because that'll be cool too. You'll kind of get some of the vibes that I was talking about. So here is a really cool little ping pong delay from the Mood, and you'll hear it go left to right. You hear that? It's pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool. Let's make it just that. It's great, right? It really is. Really fantastic. What's going on? Okay, so then you tell yourself, hey, let's add something to the front of it. Let's add the reverse mode C, because the reverse mode C is really cool. In fact, I'll let you hear the reverse mode C. That's right here. This is the reverse mode C. That's also really cool. And okay, so now you're probably asking, all right, let's get on with this. What's going on? I have a mono input going into the reverse mode C. And this is kind of where my brain was. Mono input, reverse mode C, stereo out to Mood, stereo out to Lossy, stereo out to whatever's going on there. So okay, so the reverse mode C is the first thing in the chain. Let's make that mono in, stereo out. That makes sense. Mono in, stereo out. So that MISO switch is switched. So then, let's turn off the MISO on the Mood and make sure there's no MISO on the Lossy, because those are all stereo. So you can't really see it that well, but that's what's going on. I've got spread turned on all of them, which widens the stereo field of the effects. But MISO is different. It's a different element to the signal. So MISO on here, MISO off here and off here. And let's listen to, well, sorry, let's do this. Let's listen to the reverse Mkii. All right, that's cool. Now, let's listen to the mood. Let me do that, sorry. Doing this vertically is a little odd. So, all right, so all I really did is switch the MISO off on this, and then here is that ping pong delay. You hear the difference? Here, MISO on. MISO off. Where did it go? It's still stereo, but there's a width that's missing. Hear it? I can hear it. Let's say, you know, Alright, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you've got the reverse mode C on, MISO in, you got the mood, but you say like MISO out because it's stereo in, stereo out, and then it's stereo, but it's not the same as when you switch this. Right? One thing that you can't hear because the mood is on, so let's turn it off, is what's the reverse mode C sound like now that the MISO is turned on? Did you catch that? It's on. It's the second one right here. It's on. Alright, so let's listen to the reverse mode C. Still lovely, absolutely, but turn the MISO off. Do you hear that? Let me try it a different way. Let me turn the mood on. And it's MISO on, because let's just again pretend it's the first thing in the chain. Let's pretend reverse mode C is mono. So here we go. Let's add a little bit of Lossy to it. Get that great ping pong with a little bit, the tiniest bit of loss. Tiniest bit of loss. Okay, so then, for whatever reason, I want to hit MISO on this guy. Now, listen to it. It's not the same. You hear it? You can turn Lossy off just so that you can hear just the mood. MISO off. Instant change. So you hear it, I hear it, we all hear it. And it's like, okay, that's annoying, because if I really want that ping pong effect here, this has to have the MISO on, which means any stereo before it loses some of its stereo effect. So the reverse mode C isn't the same with the MISO on, but that's what I want. I want this one to have the MISO on because that's the effect I want. It does affect this one, but you know, you got to prioritize. Annoying, right? Yes, but guess what? It's not, and here's why. The dip switch panel or controls, like where everything is set, is individually savable to a preset. And these little boxes, because they have MIDI in, it's this little guy here. I think it's 127 possible presets if you're using a MIDI controller. On the box themselves, you can just do 2. You can, here, my hand's over here, so you can do the right side, that's the red side, or you can do the left side, that's the green side, or the middle, which is what you get. So the reason why it isn't really annoying is because since all of these switches can be, it's saved per preset. So, I have the MISO on here. I really like this. I save it on this preset. Then I go to another preset. I can turn the MISO off and save that on that preset. So here's this. Let's say that in one setting I want to have that ping pong, and so I have the MISO set to that, which means it negates some of the stereo effect from here. Not a lot, but some, enough that it's noticeable. And this one is MISO off, MISO on, doesn't matter. I save it. That's great. Let's do the song. It's awesome. Everyone's like, man, that stereo delay or that ping pong is wild. It's kicking. I love it. And then I'm like, well, wait till you hear the next song, because now the reverse mode, that's going to have the MISO engaged. Because I switch presets, and in that new preset, MISO off, MISO on, that's when you hear that. You see what I'm talking about? It's savable per preset. So even though when it's like live like this, you might hear that difference, and you might say, oh, come on. In a MIDI environment, it doesn't matter, because as you change a preset, you can change which one of these has the MISO engaged. I think that's actually pretty cool. And at first when I was annoyed, like, oh gosh, but then as I got to thinking about it, I'm like, no, wait, actually I like that. That's pretty cool, because then I'm not stuck with one thing. I can do whatever I want each time I do a different preset. That's it. And I want to say thank you for listening to my rant, my soapbox rant of like over 10 minutes of talking about this. And I'll leave you out with just some wonderful sounds from these boxes. Oh, you're wondering which one's MISO? Oh, you hear that ping pong, so you know it's the mood. Okay. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. I hope it was somewhat enjoyable, and I hope it was somewhat educational. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. I love the engagement that we have together. I wish you all the best.